Hey guys, I'm Glitter Valkyrie, and today we're going to pull an Turn of Fate banner. Choose Your Legends is finally here, and there are so many highly anticipated characters, and I'm hoping that we can get a few of them today. And so with all that said, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I honestly don't have a very good plan for pulling today because there's really only one character that I want to keep on this banner, but there is also so much new fodder that I need for so many characters that I have no idea what to do. So I guess maybe in this first circle we can do everything and maybe we won't pull reds later on, I don't know. So I think that we can just see how it goes. But if I had to pick one character that I want the most on this banner, it is a super easy answer. It is female Corrin. She is my favorite avatar in all of Fire Emblem, and any Corrin that we get I'm going to want. And she's actually also the only character that I voted for this year that made it to CYL, so I'm really, really happy that she is here. And with all that said, I actually have a lot of feelings about the way that this Brave form was handled that I want to talk about. And one of the things that I want to talk about was that she is a dragon, because I was personally really hoping for her to have Omega Yato, and I was a little disappointed that she's a dragon yet again because she's been a dragon so many times. But I do think that she's very, very strong, and she's going to be incredibly useful. And I'm also very excited that she's an armored unit, and that might sound weird coming from me because typically I don't like armored characters, but I feel like that's kind of also part of it. I don't like using armors, but when a character is my favorite, I actually get a ton of use out of them. And so for me, this is an armor that I'm actually going to use, so that's really, really nice. I also love that they added the terrain effects. I'm saying that now, but ask me in a couple weeks, I may have a different opinion. It may end up being really, really annoying, but I love that they're adding these things, and I love that it's sort of similar to how she was in Engage, and so I'm really happy about that too. And so, of course, if we get to 40 with nothing, we are taking Corrin, and maybe pulling this wrong one will bring the correct one home at some point. But yes, she's the one I want the most. But aside from Corrin, we have to pull every green that we see because I need 10 copies of Soren. And I hate saying this because I know everybody loves Soren, but I am very neutral on him. I have no connection to him as a character, and I need his special for all my mages. So we're pulling greens. And then aside from Soren, we have Snake Lady, and she's another one I am pulling for her ace skill. And I hope that all the Snake Lady fans are very, very happy and they get lots of copies. And then lastly on the banner, we have Robin. And I want to say that he has the best art on the banner, but he also doesn't have a ton of skills that I need. And while I like him, I don't necessarily need him. So I don't know how many reds we're going to pull. So I guess that covers everybody, and let's go ahead and answer viewer questions. And as always, if I don't get to yours, I am so sorry. I will try to do it in a future one. And if you think of a question you want to ask me, just leave it in the comments with #question, and I'll be sure to put your question on my list. And so our first question today comes from Royfan Fire Emblem, and they ask, which Fire Emblem character do you relate to the most? Oh gosh, well, I wish I could say La Rochelle, but sadly I am not that much like her. However, there is a character that I'm very much like, I think. I relate a ton to Marianne from Three Houses. I am a very, very shy person. It takes me a very long time to open up to people. And I also really love animals, and she's also an animal lover. And so I feel like we have a lot in common in that regard. I also really love her journey and growth throughout Three Houses, from going from someone who's very, very unsure of herself and doesn't know where she fits in the world to kind of just making her way in life and being a little bit more sure of herself and kind of finding her niche. And as I've gotten older, I feel like that's gotten a little bit better, and so I see myself in her with that as well. And so for all those reasons, I think that I am most like Marianne. But thank you for that great question. Okay, let's hope that this is Soren. Fingers crossed. Okay, smoke. Hilda! Hilda! Oh my goodness, it's Hilda. You know what? I'm going to credit Royfan for this very, very lucky question. I'm so excited. Let's check IVs. And she's plus res. Oh my goodness. That's one of the best pulls that I could have in green. So I am so happy with that. But let's go ahead and answer our next question. And this comes from Sensei in red. And they ask, what were your thoughts about Kafka, Blady, and Jingliu when you first saw them in Honkai Star Rail? So, oh wow. Oh my goodness. You know what? I don't think that I have Rhea, so this is really, really good. And she is new. Let's check IVs. and she is plus res. You know, I'm not 100% sure, but I think she likes res if she's like any of her other versions, so I'm going to say that that is great. But getting back to this very lucky question that I don't think that I even got to answer, my thoughts on Blade, Kafka, and Jingliu. So when I first saw Kafka, I met her many, many times because I rerolled 7 times in Star Rail to get a good account. And so initially, like when I saw her, I had no opinion, and then I just kept hearing her voice lines that were not skippable over and over and over again. So needless to say, I am not a fan of Kafka. But as for the other two, I like them a whole lot more. As for Blade, when I first saw him, he was definitely in like the maybe category for pulling. Like I loved him when I initially saw his design, but then I saw his hair in the back and I didn't like that quite as much. But I did end up pulling for him, and he is incredibly useful. I have no regrets, and so I do like him. And then lastly, we have Jingliu, and she is one of my favorite designs. Like as soon as I saw her, I said, she's going to be one of my favorites. I am absolutely pulling for her, and I cannot wait for her to be added. But thank you for that very, very lucky question. Okay, let's hope that this is Snake Lady. Okay, smoke. There are no snakes. Okay, so let's go ahead and back out, and let's go ahead and answer our next question. And this comes from Cesar de la Rosa. And they ask, has your perspective on Gullveig changed since her CYL win to today? Honestly, not really all that much. I will say that when she was first announced, I wasn't super excited since she took a spot away from like a real Fire Emblem character, but I have accepted it, and now she is here with amazing fodder, so I'm happy. But yeah, I really don't think that she's one of my favorites, and honestly, in terms of characterization, she's gone down a little bit because now we found out that she's Sather, who has taken a total nosedive for me because of the weird baby summoner thing. It's just super weird and I don't like it. But thank you for that great question. And let's go ahead and answer another one, and this comes from Agent 63. And they ask, I am starting YouTube as like a side job, so do you have any advice for newcomers to YouTube? Oh my goodness. Well, I don't know if I'm the best person to answer this because I am the most casual YouTuber there is. Like I have a full-time job, and this is purely like a passion project on the side. I'm not very business oriented, but I will do my best. So I would say that like first starting out, you really don't need expensive stuff to get started. Like I started making videos in iMovie and doing all my editing there, and I still use a Blue Snowball microphone, which is not very fancy at all. And you really can get by with very basic stuff. The only reason that I updated my editing stuff was because my computer died and I had to get a new one. But generally, you can do basic stuff and make great content. So I would say don't spend a ton to start out. And then another thing would be to do what you love, which sounds very, very cliche now that I'm saying it. But I feel like when someone is passionate about something and they're having fun, it's like contagious and more enjoyable to watch. So I would say do what you love. And then other things that I don't follow that I would give as advice would be to post fairly frequently and to maybe set a schedule if you can. I personally can't do that because I'm just busy and I can't, but I feel like for a lot of people that works out well. And then one other thing is that if you have not edited anything before, it takes a really long time and you'll learn as you go, but it takes much. Oh my goodness, I'm so happy to see him. Oh my gosh, I am so, so happy. Okay, let's check IVs. And he is plus res. I am so happy with that. That's amazing. And we are still going to pull every green that we see because I need like 10 copies. But from now on, I think that maybe we can pull just all the colors and just see how it goes. But getting back to this very, very lucky question, I think that I was just talking briefly about editing and how if you haven't done it before, it takes like way longer than anybody would expect, but it will get better, so just stick with it. But thank you again for that very lucky question. And let's go ahead and answer our next one, and this comes from Stephen Lee. And they ask, for each Fire Emblem series, which 2 characters would you like to be added to Fae? Okay, so if we're starting with Arcanea, honestly, all the characters that I want have been added already, but if we... Oh wow, oh my goodness, I'm pretty sure that is Quan, which would be great. Yes, that is Quan. I'm really happy with this. Okay, let's check IVs. And he is plus speed. I will take it. And we will just do the rest of the circle to get closer to 40. But getting back to this very lucky question, I was saying that I would love to see alts for Nina and Camus. And then for Shadows of Valentia, I think that all my favorites are in at this point, but I feel like Jesse does kind of deserve to be here and he's been left out, so I hope that he gets added for the Jesse fans. And then for FE4, I would love to see more of the Crusaders because I think that they make amazing mythics and it would be fantastic. And then for Thracia, I want to see Dean and Linoan. And then for FE6, I really think that Elfin is the only one that I'm still waiting on. And then for FE7, I need to see Oswin. I will cry this year if he does not get added. He is my most wanted character to be added to Fae. So I'm really, really hoping that we see him this year. But aside from him, I want to see Athos and I want to see Nurgle. That would be great too. And then for Sacred Stones, I really, really want to see Franz this year. And I would love to see Glenn and I want to see Ismer too. And then for the Talia series, most of my favorites are in, but I feel like regular Boyd deserves to be here. And other than him, this is a very weird pick, but I would love to see like Micaiah's grandma get added. Oh my goodness, Zeke! You know what? I love Zeke, so that is amazing. Okay, let's check IVs. And he has plus HP minus speed. I'm very happy with that. So we'll go ahead and pull this blue. Hopefully it's Snake Lady. And getting back to this very lucky question, I think that we were up to Awakening now, and I would love to see Vake and Callum. Oh my gosh, oh my goodness. I'm so happy we pulled this blue. And we hit 40, but we have to check IVs. And she has plus defense minus res. I am happy with that. And we have to pull the rest of these reds. Maybe we can get a lucky Robin. But finishing up this very, very lucky question, for Awakening, I want to see Vake and Callum. And then for Fates, I just want to see Azana and more Xanders. And then for TMS, I literally want to see everyone that we're missing. They should be here. And then for 3 houses, I want to see regular Caspar and Raphael. And I want to see Judith too. And then lastly for Engage, pretty much everybody, but namely like Risato and Tamara and Frigato and Kagetsu, Seedall, Vale, so many. I would love to see all of those. But thank you for that very lucky question. And now we can go ahead and Spark, and of course we are going to take Corrin. This is a super, super easy choice. Yay! You know what? It may have taken the spark, but I'm just happy that she is home. And we get the thing. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and end things here. I got my Corrin and the skills that I was looking for, so I'm really happy with how this went. And I know so many of you have been saving for so many months, so I hope you got your plus 10s and everything that you were looking for. I also want to say a huge thank you to everybody that submitted questions. I so appreciate you taking the time out of your day to do that, so thank you so, so much. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.